This frame shows you how passive sentences look in the negative. And you can see over here that I'm not even using this by phrase at all. It's not important, or I'm not saying who didn't solve the crimes or who was not investigating the crimes. Okay, the simple present, it sounds like this. Some crimes are not solved. This is a general rule. Present progressive, some crimes are not being investigated. That means now. The simple past, the crime was not solved in the past. Past progressive, some crimes were not being investigated at some time in the past. In the future, the crime will not be solved. The present perfect, the crime has not been solved. Past perfect, the crime had not been solved. Future perfect, the crime will not have been solved. Then this frame shows you how the passive looks with the modals. This area is all present modals, or expressing things in the present or future, and this is all expressing things in the past. If I say the case can be reopened in the future, or the case may be reopened in the future, or the case might be reopened in the future, the can means it's possible that it will happen in the future. May and might really mean the same thing. It'll be reopened in the future. The case should be reopened in the future can mean two things. It can mean I'm giving advice that the case be reopened, or it could mean I think it will probably be reopened. The case ought to be reopened in the future means the same thing as the should, in the sense of it's my advice that it be reopened. The case must be reopened in the future, or it has to be reopened in the future, it means it's necessary. And the case had better be reopened in the future is, again, more like advice, but almost with the idea of a threat. If it's not reopened in the future, there's going to be some kind of problem. Then with the past modals, when I say the case could have been reopened years ago, means it was possible, but it didn't happen. The case might have been reopened years ago means maybe it was reopened, but I don't know for sure. If I say the case must have been reopened years ago, that means I think probably it was reopened years ago. If I say the case should have been reopened years ago, or the case ought to have been reopened years ago, should and ought to have been here both mean the same thing, and it means it was not reopened, but that was a mistake. It should have been reopened, even though it was not. And this last frame is about something they call the passive causative. It's a special kind of passive that we use with the verbs have or get to express the idea that something was caused by something. Or if we say we had the evidence checked by experts, that means we made the experts check the evidence. It means we caused the experts to check the evidence. If I say she has had the note analyzed, it means she made somebody analyze the note, or she caused somebody to analyze the note. I could say by somebody over here, but I don't need to say that. Okay, get is used in the same way. If I say they got the report printed by professionals, that means they made professionals print the report, or they caused professionals